Good evening, everyone. This is the operational update for March 16th. Russian forces are facing increasing difficulties replacing the combat losses in both equipment and personnel that they've sustained in the last 3 weeks of fighting in Ukraine. They're losing high-level commanders and some of their more elite troops. And Russian efforts to deploy forces from Armenia and Georgia and reserve units from Eastern Russia aren't going to really provide any help. However, unlike a video I said earlier, it is now determined that Russia will be redeploying reservists. We don't know how many yet, but those will be moving into support efforts in Ukraine. However, more than likely, those units that are going to be filling in or backfilling the battalion tactical groups that were lost early on in the invasion are going to have problems with communications and logistics, probably on a greater level than even the units that were sent in. You just can't plug and play some of these Russian units and expect them to perform, and those logistics and communications difficulties are going to be an ongoing problem. President Zelensky created a new joint military / civilian headquarters responsible for the defense of Kyiv a couple days ago. It's been largely seen that they're building up heavily in the Kyiv metro area and trying to keep the Russians from crossing the Irpin River. Same thing down in the south. The Ukrainians are trying to keep the Russians from crossing the Bug River. They've moved to the north of Mykolaiv, but have met heavy resistance everywhere, so they cannot create a line of communication to Odessa, which means that the ships that are currently in the Black Sea and shelling Odessa are not able to launch amphibious assaults into Odessa. This is going to be an ongoing problem. A general consensus from military leaders across the United States and NATO, as well as experts in the civilian sector, are showing that Russia is struggling to maintain the ground they have taken. Counteroffensives from the Ukrainians are becoming more and more violent and more precise in their ability to push back Russians from in various areas, including in Kharkiv, near Zaporizhia, and Kherson, and Donetsk. All of those places are facing heavy resistance. Kyiv continues to not have any action. There was no fighting coming from the northeast. Originally I was saying they were just reconciling and getting ready for a future push. Now they're just kind of sitting there. No idea what's going on. It might be just confusion. It might be a feint to try and move efforts to more in the south. Both are plausible as Crimea tries to move through Zaporizhia and maybe cut off some of these cities from Eastern Ukrainian forces. But for now, Kyiv, other than shelling, has not had any offensive operations.